Hello there. Today we are pleased to welcome Andrew Cavaghan, Chief Executive Officer of Blue Gold Limited, trading on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol BGL. Andrew, welcome to Redship.
Thank you for having me.
For investors who may be seeing Blue Gold for the very first time, Andrew, let's start with a brief overview of the business. What makes your business fundamentally different from both traditional gold companies and crypto projects?
Okay, thank you. So we're fundamentally an end-to-end gold business. Everything from production through gold trading and then to tokenization. And our focus is on making gold useful and spendable again for the first time in over 50 years.
Okay, now commodity-backed stablecoins, they're still a very small slice of the gold market. From your perspective, Andrew, what has been missing historically, and how does Blue Gold solve those problems?
Well, I think we're at a really interesting time as the confluence of a number of factors come together to make this the right time to be launching a gold-backed stablecoin. So, first of all, the regulatory environment in the US has become very favorable to moving blockchain technology into mainstream finance. So not only is it permitted, but it's actually encouraged. And as we know, blockchain technology makes payments much quicker, cheaper, easier. So it's a superior technology, but also one that's now being embraced. Secondly, from a gold perspective, the dollar has suffered some debasement over recent years, and I'm sure we've all felt that in our pockets as a result of inflation and other factors, which makes people think about alternative ways to store their money than in the dollar. And then thirdly, at a at a macro level, politically, the dollar has been used for political purposes, particularly when we think about the aftermath of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the seizing of those dollarized assets. And so other countries, other people outside the US that have got dollar assets are more nervous now and thinking about diversifying somehow into something else. So what we're offering here with a gold-backed stable coin takes advantage of those three things coming together. And we're seeing, I think, in the market, a lot of enthusiasm for this.
Now, unlike many early stage fintech or crypto platforms, Blue Gold has multiple planned revenue streams. Can you outline how token issuance fees, transaction fees, and trading spreads all work together?
You're right. We have diversified revenue streams from the different parts of the business, and together they make the overall earning potential of the business much more robust. So, starting with mining, particularly at these gold prices, generates high margins, but is operationally intense. There are many moving factors within a mine, but you're rewarded with high margins. Trading, on the other hand, so trading, buying and selling gold is much lower margin, but higher volume and diversified with many different sources of gold. So that creates a robust counter and complement to the mining. And then tokenization generates a very strong long-term annuity income stream, which, but because once these tokens are created, they're going to be around for a long time, potentially forever. And you generate an annuity income stream off them as they move about within the system. And finally, the financial technology platform accelerates the velocity of those tokens by providing useful tools to people, which in themselves we can charge a higher margin for. So there's different margins that blend to make a more robust earnings profile for the company.
Andrew, more than 1 million standard gold coins were pre registered within days of the initial launch, and that represented about $129 million in indicated demand. What did that early traction tell you about market appetite?
Well, I think having spendable gold is a very appealing and intuitive concept. Lots of people understand the benefits of gold, but for it to be spendable, it becomes more useful. I think as a public company entering this market, we also represent a trusted source for a blockchain technology. No other publicly listed companies offering a gold-backed token. So, as a regulated company, and I, as an officer, and the other officers are regulated, we have to be very careful what we say, and therefore people can trust what we're saying. And I think that that makes it appealing. And ultimately, trust and transparency are the most important things within a gold-backed or any kind of blockchain technology that's got a real-world asset underneath it. So that's been where our focus is, and we think that's why it was well received.
Okay, you talked about trust. You've got the gold, you're holding the gold. You've also talked about making it spendable, which to me is a fabulous and revolutionary idea. Tell us about the Blue Gold One ecosystem, which has that wallet and debit card. Tell us about maybe some of the use cases that you would expect to drive early adoption once this one app launches later this year.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. So we see this as being the important service which is applied to our product. The product being the token, the service being the different tools that we're providing to people to make it useful. So um, most importantly, and at the center of this is that you can hold within your wallet gold, and then at the point that you're purchasing something, it is converted into the local currency. So if you're in the US, it's converted into dollars. But if you're traveling at the time in Europe, it will be converted into euros. If you're traveling elsewhere, it gets converted into that currency. So you hold gold, but it gets spent in the local currency without you having to hold that local currency yourself and take those currency risks or the depreciation risks. So it's only at the point of sale it gets converted. Now that functionality, that credit and debit card functionality is under development. We're working with our trusted partners that are regulated to issue those cards, and we expect that to be issued in the US in the coming months. In addition, our development team is working on a number of exciting other tools which will leverage the gold in your wallet. And I can't say too much about them at the minute, but we're working night and day to bring you these tools, and we're excited to tell you about them as soon as they're ready.
So it wouldn't be wherever the gold card is accepted, but wherever gold is accepted.
Well, in actual fact, the currency that you pay in will be the local currency in the country that you're in. So it'll be converted. Your gold account will be debited, but the shop or whoever you're buying from will receive will be their local currency. So they don't have to accept gold. There may come a point in the future where people price things in grams, but we're not banking on that. We're assuming people will price in dollars or in pounds or in euros. So your gold just gets converted at that point of purchase.
Turning now to Ghana, where you actually are right now, Andrew, you own the Bogoso Prestea mine, which hosts more than 6 million ounces of gold resources. You've already secured funding in escrow for a potential restart while also pursuing international arbitration. How should investors think about the optionality this creates?
I think this is a very interesting part of the stock story. We are in dispute with the government of Ghana, so we're not operating the mine at the moment, which is a great shame. It's one of the largest resources. It's a built mine with the infrastructure in place. It's not operating, and we are hopeful of a resolution. But in the meantime, we're pursuing arbitration. So there's an international arbitration with the first hearing later this month in February. So either way, whether we resolve with the government or whether we pursue arbitration, we're confident of a outcome that delivers value to shareholders.
Andrew, final question, the essential value proposition. Why should investors take an interest in blue gold right now?
An investment in blue gold is an investment in gold itself. We're the only publicly listed company offering a gold-backed token with end-to-end gold production to tokenization. We've set ourselves up transparently with a trust in Wyoming that owns the gold and issues the tokens. Um, And I'd like you to think about this token as if it were like a ticket you get when you put your coat into a cloakroom at a restaurant. At any time, you can take that ticket, you can get your coat back. So it entitles you to your coat, but you could also transfer that with someone else if they wanted your coat. And it's like that with gold, except we know exactly what the value of your coat or the gold is at any time because it's available on the market they're sold, bought and sold at spot price. So that's what we're offering. We think there's also enormous unbaked potential upside from a share price perspective on the Ghana situation, whether we settle or whether we go to arbitration. And yeah, that's our value proposition. Thank you.
Andrew, it is a fabulous story. Exciting to be a part of this. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.